Okay, so we're just documenting what happened.
Yeah.
It's July 5th, 2021. What happened?
I had this like very weird experience throughout the night. Like usually things don't set me off, or I don't feel like, oh, it's a thing. Like I don't really care. But it's more like, first just like creating planets and getting focused on civilizations, and like the, let's say, the dream or the experience is in super extreme details, like sounds and smells and everything else. But like there's a moment in between I'm on a spaceship designing things, and out of the blue, in a super advanced place, I pull out a little branch, just like, ow, what's this? Like, like as if, like, you know, and this branch is like, I don't know, uh, like about like the whole hand thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it splits, and I just pull it out, and I wake up with a thought that, I've been abducted, because I wake up and my nose is bleeding. And why would, in a spaceship, out of the blue, I would have this little branch and feel something like in my throat or whatever,
Yeah.
So like my first guess was, or like first thought is, it's a cover up. Kind of like the real experience is they have me and they are testing me. They have tubes in my body and everything, and put a cover up dream where, oh no, you're just on a spaceship creating, and look, a branch out of nowhere. Like that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's it's not consistent.
Yeah.
And like the other thing, after everything, like waking up and just, okay, like, going to the bathroom and like, oh, downstairs I'm bleeding, like I'm not my period, it doesn't happen out of the blue. Why is it happening? Like, so it's like, just little things, and it makes me think I've been abducted. And there's a part of me that's like, oh no, don't worry about it, it's not a thing. But it's like that implanted thought, like, don't look at it, it's a cover up. Well, you just had a dream about creating things, there was nothing there, and you just found a branch, don't go there. And also, like, for me, it's like a cover up. So, like, I wanted to look deeper into what happened that I wasn't aware of, or what happened while it was sort of like a cover up of everything.
Okay. Okay. One way is to just move in consciousness back to that place.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, like, right away, like, I'm just sort of moving back in time. But it seems
Right.
I've been longer. I mean, I've been gone longer than just a few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was that time where, like, let's say the dream or the experience starts, and the whole duration was sort of fake. It's not just a few seconds, it's like way longer than that. Like, relative,
Mm-hmm.
what we're talking about, but it feels like I've been there way longer. It's just not just like laying on the table and having things shoved in me, and where it's experiments or what. Like, I'll look into it, but it's longer than that. So yeah. Um, should I just go exploring, or do you have any directions or anything you want me to focus on?
If Yeah, just go exploring. For,
Mm-hmm.
specifically, you're looking at what this happened
Yeah.
right here. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Go with it, and then I'll just with your eyes closed, I'll give you reads,
All right.
and we see some
Yeah.
reads and stuff. Got it.
The first thing that just popped up, like how long I've been gone. It's like for 3 days, like physical world days, somewhat, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's a little suspicious that would interrupt us right now. While you're exploring, I'll go get the dog.
Okay.
Hi.
It's like the bigger thing I'm getting is the suppression of memories and consciousness, because it's like I'm seeing several parts of me, like the physical self
Mm-hmm.
and my other aspects, and it's like, oh, we don't want her connecting to her other aspects and picking up certain information, so they're doing some stuff like to disconnect us and everything when something else is being triggered. But yeah, it's like a lot of little things. As I don't know, a lot of it is like pitch black, like inaccessible, but it's just a little, let's say, block in the consciousness where I should not look, and there are parts like where other parts of me doing there, you know.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay, so we've what's the duration of the incident?
about 3 days.
About 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it could have been like a moment here, just a few seconds,
Mhm.
but for me it lasted 3 days over there.
Okay. Weird question because of the weird timing thing,
Mhm.
but when did it start?
Okay, like on the physical world.
Yeah.
Okay, like
That. That.
5 a.m. 26 minutes.
5 a.m.
26 minutes.
Okay.
I don't know when I woke up exactly, like 5:30, 5:40,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere there,
Yeah. Okay.
but in that few minutes.
Okay. Now my nose is acting up.
Bless you.
That's a lot of suspicious things going on. Okay, so yeah.
I'm just like having a harder time because usually like I can just look at it and tell the story,
Mm-hmm.
but there's like a lot of, I don't know, like inconsistencies or little blocks. Like let's say I go there and the last part is me being on the table and them shoving things or pulling things out, because there's the part where in the experience they're putting in my head, making me think it's the reality I'm creating. It's where like I pull that out, like I consciously, like, you know, like the body is supposed to be asleep and they should finish the process, but literally I'm like, you know, in the whole lab while my body's there to pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how conscious I was, but that's where they just dropped me back there.
Yeah.
You know, like they're like fuck. But that's the thing where, you know, like the part where I became awake and what happened previously and those 3 days there, and the other part of me. It's like the other parts have their own memories, and I can access like a bit of everyone's, but I'm not getting a consistent story yet, or like the whole throughout look.
Okay. How about we try it this way? Access one part of yourself, and just do a quick, what just happened? Are you aware of what was happening with this aspect here? Yeah. And you say, from your viewpoint, what seems to be the problem with it? What's going on?
Okay.
And then do it like parts of different aspects.
Sounds good.
Okay. So this is a parts party sort of process here. Okay, go ahead. Mm-hmm. That. Mm-hmm.
Looking at the other part of me, it's a bit taller, has darker hair, like whole suit. Makes me think of, you know, Marvel movies where the heroes have their own stuff. So it's like, you know, it's a full suit, and all stuff.
Okay.
It's like I start by talking to myself, you know, asking like, hey, how long have you been here? And their part of me like is trying to access, but it's like, I don't know, like again, like there's that block or whatever happened in there, they don't remember it. So I'm just doing my own thing where I use my left hand, to access memories. So I just, I'm holding the mirror with my left. So I basically put like my hand on my head, but
Mhm.
her head, and
Yeah.
just we're just touching foreheads. I'm holding her close, and that's why I access memories.
Mhm.
So she's been there for about a month,
Okay.
and I'll just see what's up.
Sure. Mhm. Jesus Christ.
At least he's trying to protect us. Okay, so basically I'm just accessing my own memories, but like a movie. You just start playing it, and then can stop a moment, enhance, and zoom in, zoom out, and everything else. So the main action, like the beginning, is like the planet that she was in, my other part. The planet is attacked. Like, let's say, think of, I don't know, Utopia. Let's say, for those that have watched Marvel movies, we just finished the whole uh, like 23 movie order and all this stuff. Um, Black Panther and Wakanda, I guess that would be the best example where the world is, let's say, is hidden from everyone else, but it's instead of just one little continent, it's like the whole planet, and it's far away, but it's hidden from everyone else. And it's kind of pretty much a utopian life where people have vast amount of information, they have like very peaceful lives and everything's fine, and defense starts breaking, spaceships coming in, and it's like straight on killing everyone. Like, let's say missiles going in, you're just walking in the park and everyone's dying. So in that moment, I sort of stop everything and zoom in on a spaceship, looking at the details, or trying to go in and look in. And funny enough, it's the mirror reading Galactic Federation of Light. Like, I don't usually go there.
No.
So that's interesting. But yeah, pretty much like what I'm getting, it's literally certain groups connected to them. Let's say the cause is the Federation, but the doers is reptilians, Dracos, and everyone else. It's like they sent out, or like they make a deal with certain races, and certain race goes, and we're gonna kill ya, and they're attacking the whole planet, just killing everyone, and it's pretty much like eradicating life. We're just trying to destroy people and take over, and it's gonna be ours now. And that's where people don't have enough time to react to start fighting back, and at the same time they're like, okay, we need help. It's like that planet that is living peacefully away from everyone, like it's just fully disguised from everyone else, so you can't really access it. And how should I say it? It's not for military, it's not for fighting. It's more like just like, hey, go to a planet, have a peaceful life, and it's like people want to get away from the problems. They don't want to be involved,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what people over there did. So there's part of me in it, and I'm looking at like they are being attacked by reptilians. So they're like, with what they have, they try to fight back. With what they have, they try to connect. And like what's the deal? Why is it happening? Like, let's say the people living on the planet is contacting beings on the ship to get the information, and the other people on a planet are trying to contact for help. And so like I'm seeing Galactic Federation of Light is kind of like problem reaction solution. It's let's attack the planet and show them that even though they're having a paradise life, they got attacked. Someone found them. It's like create a problem. They're not invisible. Then they sent out enemies, which is reptilians. Everyone's looking at them. Everyone's hating them anyway. So they have a reputation like, oh, it's reptilians. You can't really point fingers at someone else. So everyone's looking at reptilians, and oh, look who's coming to help, Galactic Federation of Light. And they're like, we're gonna save the day, and now your planet is gonna be under our jurisdiction, and we're gonna watch over your planet. You're no longer living only by yourself with your own rules. And that's a takeover. And every being actually in there that is conscious of what's happening, let's say, no, you're actually taking over a planet, you're not helping, they get abducted. So part of me that knew what's going on, and anyone else who has some sort of awareness of the situation is being taken to erase all the memories and just full blockage. Like, you just woke up here.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what one of my part experienced.
Wow, okay. So that's a little piece of the puzzle?
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. It's kind of like, it made me think of, what if the Galactic Federation of Light
Mm-hmm.
has 500,000 planets in it, but either before or after that federation got established, this whole infiltrate, hijack, consolidate game started. It makes me think of a lot of things. If there's 500,000 planets protecting themselves from something, well, how long has the something been going on for even 500,000 planets to get organized enough to connect?
Yeah.
And so if there's 500,000 in this group, how many thousands have been attacked and overtaken already?
Yeah, I mean, it's like problem reaction solution. You cause the problem and you give them the solution. You create the disease and you give them the cure. You cause the, oh look, there's a shooting and we can save you, but now we're gonna take away your guns for your own safety. Like, no sir.
Yeah.
So it's that thing where we do sessions and look into stuff. Normally I'm like, yeah, I'm not engaging, but now it's like you're overstepping,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, let's look at some of what from the other aspects of yourself.
The other one, yeah.
Yeah, the other one. Okay. That.
Okay, so there's part of me right here, and there's another part. I just access this one right next to me, and the other one is further away. But before I'm going to talk to the other one, I'm like, hey, you're gonna stay with me, and I'm gonna talk to her, and I'm gonna take care of you. And there's the, gray alien just putting something in the computer, and I'm like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Like, stop. Like, he's like, shit, like, got caught. So, I'll just make sure he doesn't do anything stupid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So pretty much like manifested weapons for my other parts just in case, and I walked up to this gray, like questioning it, and he's like sending out, like hive mind, so he's sending out like I'm being attacked, like help, and I just grabbed his head. It's kind of gooish. I don't know. I don't like it, but like it's like tons of memories triggered. Like you can access everything he has experienced,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of others. So just like memories shoved in, but it's just a random group hired. Like my abductees, they're not really like, oh, Akvela, let's get her. Like, no, they've been hired. Like they don't really care who's the target. They're just like doing a job. Do. It's like just like cleaning the floor, like bossing.
Yeah, that's what they do. Yeah. Has you get tracking down who they're working for, who hired them?
Yeah. Bio, this
Yeah, I do.
Abduction.
What the hell?
Teleportation.
Coming and going. Let me see if I can.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, you can mess with the settings. I'll just see what I find.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. Yeah.
There's a little bit of chaos going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm accessing its memories and looking at what's going on. It's basically just cheap labor. Like the air races don't want someone else pointing fingers at him like wasn't us. Like so they're giving the Greys the dirty job.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they have a reputation for it already, so like no one gives a fuck. And this guy is just like, hey, like, not like that I wanted to get you specifically, but I'm like asking who's your boss, and then a few other Greys walk in with guns, and I'm like, stop, like I pull out their guns and just don't move, you talk.
Wow.
It's weird.
Yeah. Okay. Continue.
Interrogating them, asking who's the leader, as well as dictating some rules so that they wouldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm. Continue. Mm-hmm.
So, like even though I ask for who's the leader and everything else, it's like these guys don't really have a knowledge or suppress. There's more like, let's say kind of like a spell. You tell you die.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at it stuff, and I sort of like feel the presence in the ship, and like I just start programming my filters like revealed invisible or like just going through filters to see what's in my space, and I'm just like through normal eyes you don't see it, but if you just connect to the different vibration and it's like in between realities there's this just beingness, or let's say a massive energy shape like human sort of, or like humanoid, so I'm just gonna find a way to connect and then question.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so basically this massive light I saw, it's more like a portal. Kind of like looks like a personish, but it's just a hole, and I'm holding it so that it doesn't close on out of the blue, and I create my just another self, so duplicate it. So one part of me is holding it, the other part is going in to see what's up.
Okay.
It's like let's say a pocket, like, in a spaceship. No one's gonna look at between vibrations and what's there,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like a pocket where you just hide stuff and it's there and no one knows about it. I don't know if that.
It's kind of like a portal pocket, or yeah.
Like a wardrobe where you hide.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Closet.
Yeah. Like Narnia, where they get those.
Pretty much, except
Yeah.
it's all dark. It's black,
Yeah.
so we'll have to take a light bulb or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. It went really dark really fast. It's like, little portal. Probably the person who did it is hiding there, and I go in and there's just millions of little kids, like 4 or 5-year-olds. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh shit.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's mixed. I don't know like how to explain it. A lot of information, or let's say when you go out there, the information that's given to you is given in ways that you would understand the best. So they might show you an explanation in carrots if you understand it better, or in anime or whatever, like whatever way you can perceive things better and understand the concept. That's where we're gonna get it. So for me, it's in between English and Lithuanian,
Mhm.
where I can get the concept in English and like I know what's going on. But if I don't know the specific words in English, they're gonna give it to me in Lithuanian.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, basically like I'm looking. It's kind of like a prison. It's just a massive prison where
In that little portal place.
yeah. Let's
Uh-huh.
say it's a portal. It's pitch black, but you go to a certain field that is supposed to scare you or stop you. Like, oh, it's pitch black. You're not gonna find anything here. And it's like, if you have played Assassin's Creed, there's a part in a loading screen where the character just keeps running in this never-ending sphere.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much just put pitch black void, no light at all, and it's
Mhm.
just you, and you're like running, looking at things, and there's nothing. You could go a certain distance, and you enter the area.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just seeing like a massive prison, like not like a human world prison, but man, millions of kids in shackles, like 4 or 5-year-olds starving and everything. They have their own mission or what they're doing, or let's say enslaved and made to do, and it's pretty much like beings are the creators, but now if you take a small kid, torture them, tell them what the reality is, and focus on that, look at this, think about that, they're gonna create the reality. So now you have millions of captured beings who have no one else to tell them better. They just have the stories span on them and manifesting it.
Yeah. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of the story that the Galactic Federation is saying about the reason they're not going to let the Earth humans off the planet, and they're not going to lift this energy field, and they're not going to give us information and all that stuff, is because the Earth humans are, because of what they think and focus on, they manifest, and it's dark and it's bad, and so they're saying that that's why they're keeping Earth sort of like in a prison planet or isolated.
Mm.
But that's the same. When I look at what you just said, you capture a bunch of children and you fuck them over so bad, but you're doing it on purpose to get them to think and focus on the negative so that they will manifest that. It's almost like there's a bigger game going on of how to catch sentient, good-hearted beings and get them to create the darkness, the icky shit.
Well, if they have, let's say, pocket realities, and it's all, no one's gonna see it. We're on a spaceship. You can check out our spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
No one's looking in a little pocket reality where there's enslaved beings working for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy for a group to tell, no, look at that, we're innocent, and they have a shit hiding, and no one's gonna find it, and they're happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty much the station. Anyway, like I'm looking at all this stuff, and because they don't know better, they're enslaved. They have this Stockholm syndrome. They're like, why are you here? Like they don't like me there. They don't want to be saved. They're like, no, it's our daddy,
Yeah.
And so like I find this being. First, it looks like kind of some sort of demonic, but I'm not in the mood. I'm not playing nice.
Okay.
So literally, I think we watched too many Marvel movies.
Too many Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I kicked the being on the wall, so it slammed, and I sort of like just tore off the costume because it's like a shapeshifting, and they're just putting a face of look who you can blame. It's a devil being. Oh, I'm like no, and it's like the way I got the information is in Lithuanian, and I don't know if I will translate it well because I don't know the certain words. Basically, the Council of Nine. Oh my God, so precious, wonderful people, right? They know it all, and it's kind of like the counselor for one of them. It's like having a CAO and having someone like who knows all the laws and will tell them what's the best.
CEO of an opera.
Okay, so you have the boss.
Yeah.
And there's someone next to the boss who knows all the laws and the rules and everything else, and will tell like what's the best decision to make.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that counselor type of thing.
Yeah, counselor, advisor.
Advisor. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. So it's pretty much like that being is just the advisor for the Council of Nine or one of them, and it's just like like they're hired to do so. This is pretty much like the big plan of, let's say, a lot of beings already have the natural hate for reptilians. Like, oh, we've been attacked by reptilians. So like it's the natural, like everyone's looking at them already. So point fingers at them, like make reptilians, Dracos, Greys do all the dirty work. For them it's just like they're hired, or let's say they're attacked as well and they're compromised and you do this or else. And it's basically Council of Nine, Galactic Federation of Flight, and certain other companies working together. And it's pretty much they're doing all the bad shit, but they're disguising everything as in, no, they hired, let's say, reptilians to do all the dark stuff, and everyone's looking at reptilians the bad guy, but no one's seeing the real bad guys who actually solve all the solutions.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Now these Council of Nine, are you seeing them, or do you know what they look like? Are they part
It's just the advisor that's telling me information.
Yeah, so you just know the advisor. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So from then I can interrogate more, or...
Yeah, interrogate more. And if was there another aspect of yourself that you want to check with too, or just the two?
Yeah, there's another aspect of me waiting there. It's just like I went through the little portal, and let's say I made a clone of myself. I duplicated myself. One is holding it so that it wouldn't close on me.
Yeah.
Other part is in there checking things out, and there are two parts of me with guns. One that I already talked to. The other one is like still waiting for the conversation.
Okay, holding the gray there.
Yeah.
Don't move.
Yeah.
We're not done with you.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. So this advisor, like, starts chanting something, and I don't know what the language is, but it sounds very satanic or very not good. So pretty much just kind of like remove the mouth.
Okay.
So you can't do it.
Like in Neo, right?
Yeah.
Matrix.
Yeah, so I'll just access the memories and find things out.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a lot of things going on, like just accessing memories or what this being knows, and it's like so many stories, as in things that are happening that needs to be like dots connected. First things first is, the Council of Nine is working with the Galactic Federation, and pretty much they have deals. The idea again is like us above, so below. One world government, they try to take as many planets or as many realms as possible, like under their jurisdiction, and they're gonna give their own rules, and now they're in control. So whatever happens, you might have your own government and might play a little game, but eventually they're responsible for everything, and everything goes through them. If they don't approve, nothing happens below. And one of the things they're doing is suppressing the information. So that's where the Council of Nine comes in, where they have their own tech and information, and it's pretty much like, let's say, creating the tech that is, I don't know, like ether. It's
Ether.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's everywhere, but it's pretty much like a capsule, encapsulating being, right? So wherever you're moving, this field moves with you, and it's pretty much like the planets and every being on a planet discovered in it, like it has its own bubble. So what it does, it's like a little vacuum bag, and you're like a vegetable in the vacuum bag, and you can't really move. And the idea is that for those that want to get out of body, shift consciousness, or go anywhere, there's a shield. So let's say if you're laying in bed, then the technique is climb the ladder. You're not going anywhere. There's a block. There's so much you can move.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much like a blockage, or like a rebound system. If you're trying to shift consciousness and end up in certain place, it's gonna rebound you. So people kind of like get there but instantly go back,
Mm-hmm.
and there is no time for them. Like, yeah, I just can't get there. I just don't see that. No, like you got there and you were sent back right away.
That happened to me a lot.
Yeah. So it's like pretty much like a rebound system where like get out. So like they have this
Mhm.
defensive system of no one leaves where they are from. Let's say humans will leave Earth, other people don't leave their planets. You can't go talk to anyone else. You can't go communicate, explore, find information. It's gonna be like under very strict, kind of like leash and all this stuff.
Uh-huh.
So that's like the Council of Nine technique. Like they're suppressing information, making sure like no one sees what's going on in the history of the current.
Mm-hmm.
And then Galactic Federation is pretty much trying to do that one world government where there will be no planets or races or groups who will defy them and do different. And so everyone has to follow the rules, and basically, if you have a problem, or if it seems that the being on the planet will not really go by the rules or their thinking, we're just gonna attack you with races of reptilians because everyone hates them already. So we're just gonna use them as goons and hire them. It's pretty much compromise as well for them, like do or die. So
Mhm.
these guys are gonna lose their families or what they have if they don't do that stuff.
The reptilians.
Yeah, reptilians and Greys and Dracos and everyone else. And it's pretty much just that Federation is like using everyone and trying to control things. I don't know,
Wow.
like there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everyone's being brainwashed. That's the biggest part. It's like, where kids are normal beings, everyone's like put in a place where it's just MK Ultra on steroids.
Mhm.
They create the reality for you in your head, and it's kind of like this is the way it is. And if you try to defy it, it starts hurting. Like you
Mhm.
can't change your thoughts and everything else. So everyone's kind of like, let's say every planet that goes under their control ends up serving their purposes, where this is the reality we're gonna think and create, and they can spin stories like, oh, humans are not ready to get better, like they're not ready to accept the ETs and everything else. Like, no, you're just like using everyone else to create a reality and input thoughts in everyone else, you know.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's pretty much the information I got.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess from there on, I'm just gonna free the children and do all the shit, get rid of the being, because like I don't feel like playing nice today, and
Okay.
then going talking to my other aspect.
Okay.
I'm done with that, let's say, pocket realm,
Okay.
and I got out of there focusing on what I saw in the abduction, like that, let's say, dream that was put, or like, I don't know, whatever was put in my head and covered with stuff. I guess like the moment where I was being worked on and had tubes and everything else in my body, there was this planet I was focusing on, and it just like seemed to, like, it's attract me for some reason. And I don't know, there's like so many details in the whole creation process, and going like zooming in and seeing, like, let's say you're creating a planet and you can go inside out of like physics and everything else, but then you're putting literally like energy shielding atmospheres and everything else, and there's something like I just feel like I need to look into.
Sure.
So
Yeah. Go for it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Big time.
yeah, it's like I was looking at the planet, you know, like from the computer, and nothing looks too suspicious. You know, you can get the details of the looks and the information, but it's very basic. So I just teleported in there, and there's two things. Part of me is that the creator, like, let's say I get there and it's just, I don't know, like deserted, post-apocalyptic kind of world where it just looks like shit, you know, like really bad. And there's part of me like, oh, well, we need more atmosphere to feel this. Starts playing some creepy dark music. I'm like, yeah, turn it off. Anyway, like I've been looking at stuff and finding buildings and everything, and it's pretty much just a prison planet. And every being that has ever defied or went against the rules of the Federation and other groups is pretty much imprisoned there. And it's kind of like creating, like, I don't know how to say it, kind of clone aspect, but it's not really. It's kind of like I heard you talk about again stuff, and like a part of you is in the pod, and the other part of you is here, and you're gonna wake up and you're gonna go there, and it's very similar, except you're not in the pod. There's their being, and the consciousness sort of fractured, where you're living a life on planets, but your real part is there suffering, and while the part of you, let's say, the real major part of you is suffering and is having like thoughts and everything else input on you, or all kinds of, I don't know, like limitations, it eventually goes to the parts here. So let's say if we're not feeling inspired, if we're feeling like shit, if we're like, I don't know, I don't want to do anything here, that's because another part of you got zapped really hard. And it's kind of like, if you define, if you try to change anything, you're a rebel and you're an enemy,
Okay, let me see. Let's say before anything bad happened, you're a being and you're here in a nice place, whatever that might be. But now what we're talking about is you're in this kind of dystopia looking fucked up place. The whole being is here. But now this being gets, because of the trauma here and stuff, it somehow it fractures, and part of that comes here to and is in the body of the being, the part of itself that's here. Is that what you mean?
Let's say it is fractured on purpose, as in you're a rebel and you know too much, so we're gonna create this wonder world and put you in there. You're gonna forget everything.
Wonderful, kind of.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's a wonderland, for example, and how do you say it? Like, there's a lot of things going on, and to digest it and explain it in words that would make a lot of people understand what I'm seeing and experiencing is hard. So let's say this part of you that was a rebel, that's like, I'm not gonna go by rules and everything else, becomes the enemy, so you get imprisoned in the planet.
Not the Wonder Planet, but a wonderful place. It is a wonderful
No, it's like dystopia world.
dystopia. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, so then you're basically in your prison and your consciousness is fractured.
On purpose,
Yes.
bad guys fracturing
Yeah.
consciousness. That's normal.
Yeah.
It's business as usual.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they put the consciousness in, let's say, a wonderland or a better place.
Put part of it. Part
Yeah.
of it stays in dystopia. Part of it is in a wonderland kind of
Yeah.
thing. Okay,
Yeah.
that's typical mind fuck shit.
Yeah, it's like one part of you suffers a whole lot and is experiencing a lot of damage. The other part has amnesia, so you wake up, it's like, oh look, Earth, and you don't know anything that happened before that, and you're just living an Earth life. But in that, they allow you to experience a lot of suffering. Like Wonderland is in, it's way better. Like, by Wonderland I mean that dystopia world is Earth, but like make it worse by 20 billion times.
Okay, really bad. Earth.
Really bad.
Bad Earth. Okay.
Yeah. So, they put you in a place that's much better by, that's
Yeah,
what you compare to.
and the label you're putting that Wonderland on that label.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The Wonderland is like way better than the fucking dystopian world I'm looking at, the prison place.
I gotcha.
And so people, the fractured being ends up in different places. So let's say some can end up here on Earth, some can end up somewhere in Andromeda and other places. But what happens is like the being don't remember anything, and you experience a lot of stuff in your life. But it's kind of like set for failure or hardships, to where it is not your agreement. You did not agree to experience the bad stuff. You did not want it. But it's kind of like whatever's going on to your rebel side that is not willing to go, yeah, you can rule me. It's like that part is being tortured, and this one gets the results of not feeling so good. It's kind of like voodoo doll effect. But at the same time, it's like they're gonna torture beings in certain planets in certain ways. Like they know our buttons, whether it's emotional, psychological, put people in your space, or cause certain incidents and make you all fucked up. Eventually it has led to people are not doing too good and they want out, or they want solution, or they want their paradise, and that's where they can offer the solution. Like go into certain religions, go into certain beliefs, or you're gonna be saved by an ET group, and like they just give you false hope. And by that, it's kind of like the part of you that could wake up and join the fight or find information is basically put in this loop of suffering and looking for hope. I'm not sure if I'm making sense.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot going on, like, and I just don't know how to explain it in human words.
Well, that's okay. You did all right. Okay, so. Okay, let me step back. We got to get back to talk this other part of you too.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, in the really, the real big picture, spirit consciousness is creating different kinds of games. It's like on Earth right now, computer game companies, they're going ape shit fucking crazy, creating every kind of fucking game they can imagine. All kinds, 2D, 3D, over the shoulder, immersive, virtual reality, all kinds of, they're just going fucking nuts on it. And they're coming up with new monsters, new monsters, new monsters, new evil, new, why? Because it sells. Why does it sell? Because the beings that want to play the game are interested. They played that game too many times, Red Dead Redemption or fucking whatever. They played it over and over and over again. Something new. So we got horrors and zombies and evil and sneaky and creepy psychological horror, fucking weird shit. All kinds of games. And the beings are buying it. They're eating it up. Here's my money, I'll give you my time and my attention, I'll play the game. Step back in the big reality, all these little bits of consciousness doing this, that's God consciousness doing that shit. Step back at this massive creator level of reality, our consciousness and manifestation, beings are doing the same thing. They could be big, giant, powerful beings and ruling an entire universe, or they can be some military leader on some fucking planet far, far away, ruling his little fucking island. But it's consciousness playing these games of contention, contest, combat, fighting, and hey, it's not real. It's all manifested, imaginary, and a lot of pain. That's okay. You're out in a second. But it's gotten so far along that parts and bits of our consciousness that are still have the God ability to manifest what it thinks and feels and focuses on is still doing that. Yet it's addicted to the game, or it's forgotten its ability to stop suffering.
Yeah.
And so it suffers until whatever it's feeling pain in, it's being the body, this being, in pain. When that body expires, out of the game, no more pain, but are they still addicted to the game and going back into another game? It's kind of this kind of thing, but on a massively incomprehensible, it's a multiverse, and there's just unlimited millions and billions and trillions of versions of realities and universes and consciousness playing these games. And this particular physical universe, it's a predatory universe. If you get into this game in any part of it, you're in a very utopian world. It's all paradise. But if you're in the physical universe realm, you're bait. You may not get attacked, or you may, but it's part of the game. You're in the game, so you're susceptible to being attacked, and so then it becomes the choice of the consciousness that considers itself to be an individual being on any planet, in any race, any kind of physical body, human or otherwise. The consciousness gets in there, identifies with it, becomes that, and plays the game as that, and can play over and over for millions and millions of years, lifetime after lifetime, just hopping and popping and bipping and bopping. But at any time, this consciousness can choose to not play anymore and not come back. But it doesn't. There's a lot that's still going on. What we're not looking at, just for balance, is there's a lot of really wonderful places in consciousness, just as much bits of consciousness or beings and entities, billions upon trillions of good, loving, kind beings are in other universes that are not combative and contentious like the physical universe. So this is just a game world.
Yeah.
Or like you could even say it's like a genre. The computer game genres. They got the doo-doo-doo, and you run around and it's pretty, and there's flowers, and you're flying, and you're creating pretty. That's it. That's the game. That's all.
Yeah.
And somebody would get in that game. Is that it? Where's the bot? Where's the bad guys? Right. And where's the weapons?
You buy
Yeah,
that
now
game when
we're
you get
talking.
Mario.
Yeah. So it's like, what the fuck? So, but there's all these different game genres in the multiverse, so to speak, and beings get together in groups to play the games, and but once they get in the game, who knows what the fuck. So we're kind of involved in that. But for balance, I wanted, if we did upload this or something, for balance, there's a lot of wonderful, wholesome places too.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
just not getting attention right now.
Yeah. It's like, that's where I feel like I could come back to what I was talking about and maybe try another little try to just put the thought as in explaining it better.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say the part again that's in the dystopian world is suffering and is under like agricultural stuff, and the part is fractured and gets, let's say, here on Earth. The concept again is problem reaction solution, to where there will be other forces, and Galactic Federation is one of them, where they're creating a problem, and it's pretty much like all set up. Like, what they like doing is having a contact with a contact with a contact with a contact. Is just a chain of people that ends up with, they're not connected to the problem, but they did it, they ordered the thing. And Galactic Federation with Council of Nine and other beings, they order, let's say, suppress consciousness and do this and this and this, which ends up in people suffering. So let's say they have your life planned out into setting up incidents, like you did not agree to get shot or get left in a relationship or suffering, it was not your agreement, but they forced the incident to happen. Like, we need a person to be triggered, so let's do this and this and this. And they can set up entities, grays, reptilians, people, like they have contacts and connections and control and like leverage. And so like there's a lot of suffering going on, and then they offer a solution, like turn into religion, turn into like Galactic Federation will save you. And there's a lot of stories spinned where there's a savior giving them hope. So a lot of people who are suffering end up turning their consciousness into everything's bad, but they hope and they create that better world.
Savior,
that
better world.
Yeah. And the savior with their reality, and like Galactic Federation will come over on Earth. They will save you. There's gonna be like their laws and everything. Like, people just buy stories, and that's all they need. They don't need everyone, but as many people that can go into fake stories and buy that stuff is working into creating the scenario for masses. And problem reaction solution for them is like, we don't care if there are rebels, because we're gonna use everyone else who's dumb as fuck. Let's say you might have been a rebel, but you end up on planet Earth and you got fucked, and now you're buying a bullshit story. Haha, I got you, motherfucker. And that's where everyone's playing their game and doing what they plan to do, and they have nothing to do with it because they're offering help instead of actually admitting that we caused the problem in the first place.
Yeah.
So attacking the world, taking over them, capturing people, and everything, it just goes on the list. If you were living in a skyscraper and each step was 50 things, like bad 50 things that they did, all the stairs, every single stair would be a list of all the bad things they did.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, they just do a lot of bad stuff and just use scapegoats as reptilians. And
Yeah, it reminds me of the in movies, the super rich, powerful somebody wants somebody killed.
Yeah.
And so they tell their assistant to go find somebody that will find somebody that will find somebody.
Yeah.
And they will find somebody. And so the guy that's doing the job, he was an email and a Bitcoin payment.
Pretty much.
And so it's kind of like that. Same strategy. I mean, if gangsters can figure that out here, these guys out there can figure out how to distance themselves from the crime and spin the story like any politician. Hey, this is for your own good, blah, 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 lying with a straight fucking face and convincing millions of people that their solution to a problem that they've manufactured is a proper solution. So that shit's going on planet Earth. It'll be going on in our solar system. It'll be going on in our galaxy. It'll be going on in this fucking universe.
You know, if we're like looking at our planets, like, why are they not helping us? Bitch, please, like, they have same issue as you are.
Yeah.
It's like eventually two groups, like Galactic Federation and the Council of Nine, they're creating problems, and the solutions they give is like, we're the saviors, and everyone else that's trying to help for real is a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Getting in our way, and we're doing the best we can to help, and they spin stories that they're the best, and people that buy that, you know, it's just playing by the plans.
Yeah. Another aspect of this is that those of us who want to make it better. I had a realization yesterday. I was here on the camera. Yeah, if you got this plan to make it better, and this is your passion, you know, I got to make it better. In contrast, you have to think and focus on, and thus manifest something that's not good to make it better.
Yeah.
And I go, man, does that mean that if you're going to be the helper, then you're going to have to imagine that which is fucked up, so you're creating the fucked up shit so that you can help make it better? I'm going, that's a mind fuck. And I'm just walking on the sidewalk, walking the dog. Coming up with that one, I go, oh shit, that's not good. So the message is that we are creator beings. And it doesn't matter what the mass consciousness or the unconsciousness is doing on this planet. We can see it for what it is, wake up to how it works, how you work, how manifestation works, how we are creator beings, and consciousness is consciousness becoming by choice a point of view and a perspective, a personality, and a character. And you go, okay, all done now, bye-bye. And that can be today, that can be, hey, I'll live it out, you know. The body's got, you know, how many years left? I can do this. What the fuck? You know. And the finish line is like, instead of fuck this fucking race, this rat race, I'm out of here. You go, oh, there's the finish line. I can see that. I can make it. As long as I'm not coming in last, I'm okay. Anyway, game over, and then you can go somewhere else and do something else. Or you can choose to play this game again. Oh, there's people there that need help. It's because you're focused on it, thinking about it, manifesting it, and it becomes so. For that perspective, that point of view of the consciousness that you are being. But you are every other bit of consciousness too, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the who gives a shit, and every reptilian, giant, fucking creepy thing, and every fuzzy little bunny. And every loving being and beautiful, loving, you can see their aura and everything. And every fucking evil creature. That's us. We're doing it all. But as a bit of that, as a perspective, and I don't want to do it. If that's an I and you're being me, I'm being me, this I that I am being, I can go, all done. Played that game, physical universe, MK Ultra, or love, light, hate, love, who cares? Done.
Yeah.
And you can shift consciousness into a realm that does not have the duality, the good, the bad, the right, the wrong, the hell, the hate, the pain, pleasure, and you just go into a new doo-doo-doo and experience a very creative, enjoyable experience for yourself. And the self that you're being, you're consciously being the self that you are.
Okay.
Kind of like that. So that's my, you know, it's okay, it's not all bad. Anyway,
Yeah.
so let's get back to the next,
They are part of me?
yeah.
Okay.
All right, we good? Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one of the things I'm getting is basically a lot of people that want help and are asking for their higher self over self, their other aspects. It's like, oh well, why don't you help me? And blah blah blah. It's like the moment you are asking for help, let's say, oh, higher aspect, I need this and that. Like you put out the request for help, and it's someone above you, as people see, or their other aspects and all this stuff. It puts them in danger. Like, oh, you want to share information? Mm-mm. And let's say the other part of you that could give anything is all of a sudden, oh fuck, there's an issue to take care of right now. And it's like, you're driving on the road and your mom called you or someone close to you call, say like, hey, I'm in deep shit, I need you right now, and you're driving and the tire goes down and there's a traffic lane and there's a shooting going on, and it's just the whole road to get to that person is pretty much impossible. So that's like, you ask for help, and if that aspect could give you help, like, it's just gonna cause a lot of shit for that part of you. So it's like, do it yourself kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Interesting.
So I'll jump in again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like I'm just talking that part, uh, basically asking it to be the spectator and tell me what happened. As in, it has the memory, everything's fine, but it's been there and saw me abducted and everything else. So like ask what happened, traveling and all this stuff, and pretty much like I get on the ship and it's like there's this little round little plate. It's like a bottle cap kind of like, but
Mm-hmm.
with a bit tech, and you had it on the body, and it's like shows in, connects to you, and controls the system. So the body goes down if they want to, so you're fully asleep. And then they just had a lot of time to reprogram a lot. Let's say if you have a certain thought of if you had a certain way of thinking, like a thought process of like, oh, I just thought of this and I need to do this, and you get inspired, you get ideas of certain things you want to do, you get this, yeah, like the great feeling, and focus. It's just deleted. It's like you have a movie and you just cut out and put something else in there. Like, oh no, you've been a great chef, instead of wanting to actually look at the abductions. No, like like they just put story, and it's like sewing in a part, and you don't notice the difference.
Uh-huh.
But it's just the new way of the new way of thinking. Maybe a bit less engaged in certain subjects.
Yeah.
They make you sort of neutralized.
Uh-huh. So they sew it in or splice it, so to speak, into your
Yeah.
memory. They kind of
Yeah.
it just smoothly blends in the new, less empowering or less engaging thought,
Yeah.
and they take out your.
And let's say maybe not take out as suppress, like it's an overlay.
Mhm.
That would be a better way of explaining, because it's not gone. You
Mhm.
have it. It's just you need to access it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what happened to me. Like, the time in the morning where I was taken and the time I spent there is pretty much just rewiring a lot of things. And whether it is rewiring, like specifically this body, what this body knows, or let's say if I know stuff, but then I get connected to my other aspects and it's shared information, they just rewire it. Like make sure like I just don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of that going on.
Okay. All right.
There's another little thing I want to look at before we wrap it up, I guess.
Sure.
So,
You want to tell us what first, or?
I'll see if I can confirm it, and then if
Okay.
it is a thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Something there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so basically I just talked to everyone on the ship and got everyone off. Then the Greys, they're just doing their job, pretty much got them all. So like, yeah, you're free to go, whatever. Parts of me, backs, like anyone who was there suffering, or it's just a cleanup.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. Did you find out what did it confirm or not what you were looking
No.
into? Oh, okay.
Yeah, false alarm.
Okay. Well, what do you think it was?
Another abduction, but a while ago.
Earlier abduction?
Yeah.
You?
Yeah.
Like what? A few days ago?
Yeah, like a few days ago or something.
Well, has it been suppressed? Did it happen in the memory of it? Get it suppressed?
That's like I was looking at, but like I'm not really noticing anything
Oh, okay.
there. Cause like I saw like, you see the marks of the abductees.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw it and then it disappeared, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah. What did the mark look like?
It's just like the triangular shape,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But how long ago was it?
I don't know, a few days ago.
A week, 2 weeks, 5 weeks, a month, 2 weeks,
3,
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, somewhere in the week.
weeks,
About a week.
about a week. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I was like trying to like find a location, but it's more like nothing.
Oh, okay. But you have been abducted before.
Yeah,
Okay.
sadly.
Who hasn't, right? Okay, so that's it. How would you wrap it up? What's the summary of the story? What happened?
I would just like if there's something I could give people about it. You need some water. Sorry about that. Poor guy. Cough it up.
You fuck me. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like don't talk, right? Someone's like talking. Yeah.
Somebody must have ruined this fucking video though when I get it uploaded. I'm supposed to go, fuck this, I'm not uploading this. Well, fuck you, I am too.
Yeah. If there's something I could add, is like pay attention to the experience you have at night, because it's like two things: the one that is given to you and the thing that happens for real. And smallest things can throw it off. Like for me, it's like, why am I in a super, like, I don't know, advanced spaceship looking at planets, and I just pull out a stick out of nowhere, and it's just, you know, a cover up for a tube, you know. So like you can just pay attention to, you might be messed with at night or other times, and if you pay attention to small things, you can find out information about it.
Yeah. And generally speaking, why were you abducted?
Why? It's pretty much like suppressing memory and, let's say, information, because if there are other parts of me that could connect and share, like, hey, there's a lot of stuff going on, you need to look into it, and here's the thing. And let's say part of me does look in, and now I know the information, like, oh fuck, well, I wasn't looking at the subject, I didn't give a fuck, or like wasn't interested, and here's how much is going on. And, you know, like, someone like, hey, you're a player, please get on board and do something about it. And part of me like, okay, you know, like, a lot of stuff happens out there, but when I come back, someone just, no, don't do it. Like, they don't want the information to get out, so they come right before, let's say, you wake up, or, you know, they just press it.
Yeah. And so what are they afraid or concerned that you will be able to do or know if they don't interfere with you?
You know, like, I really admire Kimberly McGeorge, and when she said that people need me here, and I should come back, and I should help them out. And I think like some of her words stuck with me, where I felt like, you know, like, damn, I need to get back on board. I need to play the game, as in do my stuff I do the best, and give information and share what's going on. And we've been stalling with the, let's say, explorations and finding how things are and sharing our stories like we used to really enjoy. And now is the thing where there's probably a lot of things happening at night where I'm exploring and I'm finding what's going on, and someone just does not want the information to get out and have people wake up or have their points of view a bit impacted and changed, or at least look, question this, listen to this information. Like let's say, what I could share about the Galactic Federation from what I've seen today, like, it's not nice. It's very dirty play they're doing. And, you know, you talk about it, it's like, there's massive groups like with religion going, no, they're the saviors, they're the good guys. And, you know, it's great for the guys to have such, like, I don't know, comments about them when they're doing nasty play and they're, you know, causing the problem and giving the solution and looking like the saviors. And, you know, that's not the way it is. So it's like, I don't know, there's a lot of that.
Okay, good deal. And something about that whole, the dark side, they hide. They do it all behind the scenes in secret, and they put on a good face that they're the good guys. And when you look at the organization or the association or the group that they are involved with, and you say that's a bad group. But you look at the individuals, you know, the secretaries, the lawyers. There's a lot of good people. This is my job. This is what I do, and they got a good heart. And so you look at the massive organization. They go, those are not bad people. Like Monsanto, the people that work at Monsanto, it's just a guy or a girl that got a degree in chemistry and they loved it, and they wanted a good job to feed their family, and they got a really good paying job with Monsanto. And they're either occluded or they decide not to look. It's for survival reasons. I'm going to work for the bank, or I'm going to work for Monsanto, I'm going to work for the government. The government isn't bad. Those controlling the government are bad, and you can't tell it by what they say.
Yeah.
And the bad stuff that they're doing is completely covered up. And so, you know, if that's going on here, it's pretty fucking obvious on Earth. Of course it's going on in other places off the planet.
Yeah.
And the same with churches. You know, there's a lot of good people that are being pastors. You know, my dad was a pastor. Dad was not an evil man, but he's preaching some religious bullshit that's indoctrinating the population. But he's clueless. But higher up in that church organization, it gets really fucking dark and evil. But even the higher ups don't get it.
Yeah.
Until you get right there at the certain parts of it that are in control are doing the stuff that is not good for the rest of the group, so to speak. Kind of thing.
Sounds pretty much right.
Okay, so.
Before we wrap it up,
Mhm.
to make everyone smile, can I just show my best thing in the world?
It's your little puppy.
That's my little
Your little puppy got big. Oh, little
my
puppy.
pumpkin. Hi, baby. You know, he's just hi.
Hi, dear.
He's the best thing ever. Yeah, so everyone can smile. The little pumpkin. The little pumpkin.
Okay,
Alright, everyone.
if we uploaded this and if we didn't edit it out, that's,
Yeah.
we didn't. Thank you for watching. Comments welcome. And we just do what we do. Okay, talk to you later.